Let me tell you a story that starts the way no one ever expects. You come home, bone tired, at 11 p.m., and there's a strange BMW in your driveway. The porch light is blazing, the shower's running upstairs, and someone else's perfume hits you the second you open your own front door. And that's when you know your HOA president has officially lost her damn mind. I wish I could say I was surprised, but honestly, I was just pissed. I just dragged my suitcase up the drive of this old colonial house. Yeah, the one I inherited, the one with creaky floors and the kind of windows that sing when the wind blows after cutting my business trip short. I was dreaming of shower and maybe 12 hours of sleep, nothing wild. Instead, I got music floating down the stairs, off-key, singing coming from my master bath, and a living room that looked like a Christmas display. And that scent, this overpowering, expensive floral smell, had been haunting the neighborhood board meetings for months. Only one person wore it, Veronica Whitfield, queen of passive-aggressive citations and, apparently, house squatting. So what would you do if you walked into your house and found someone else living in it? I'll give you a minute to picture that. Okay, let me back up, fill you in on how I ended up in this mess. My name's Marcus. I'm 47, and 6 months before all this, I inherited a 4,000-square-foot colonial mansion in Millbrook Estates. It's the kind of neighborhood where folks measure their lawns with rulers and good fences make good neighbors, except nobody actually likes their neighbors. My Aunt Dolores, rest her soul, lived here 30 years. She baked cookies for newcomers, kept journals like the IRS, and left the whole place to me. The timing was a joke. Right after my divorce cleaned me out. So you get the picture, inheritance of a lifetime, but I walked in with my head spinning and my pockets light. That house was my second chance, you know? It smelled like lavender and old books. Every morning, the heat pipes would knock and ping, like the house was waking up with me. But, yeah, there's always a but. Every paradise has a snake, and mine wore pearls and drove a BMW. Veronica, HOA president for 8 years running, real estate agent on the side, and about as warm as a tax audit. Her welcome to the neighborhood was a demand about my mailbox color. See, my aunt had a classic black mailbox, but the HOA rules said it had to be forest green. Didn't matter that the thing had more history than most of the houses on the block. She slapped me with a $150 fine, like she was doing me a favor. That was just the appetizer. Next came the visible trash cans violation, then a complaint about my son's friends parking out front. Then a citation for my consulting business. Amazon boxes on the porch meant I was running a warehouse. Meanwhile, the old-timers who left their cans out and threw wild parties? Not a peep. But Marcus, the new guy, the outsider, he gets a citation every time he sneezes. One morning, my neighbor Beth, bless her, whispered the truth. She's territorial. New people threaten her kingdom, especially ones who land the big houses she'll never have. Beth's one of the good ones, by the way. 60-something, retired, with the best gossip and a killer casserole. Anyway, when I told Beth and my son Tyler about my 3-week Europe trip, I kept it quiet. Didn't matter. The night before I left, Veronica showed up, heels clicking like a metronome. You really shouldn't leave a house like this unattended, she said, practically drooling at the thought of getting her hands on it. I shut her down, politely but firmly. And her face? If looks could kill, you wouldn't be hearing this story. I got home 2 weeks early. Saw that BMW, the lights, the music, and realized I was walking into a bad sitcom. My own house felt wrong. I used the back door, thanks to Aunt Dolores' old trick with a loose brick and spare key. The kitchen was a crime scene. Takeout containers everywhere, dirty wine glasses in the sink, expensive Bordeaux half gone. I started taking pictures, documenting everything, because when you've worked in cybersecurity as long as I have, you learn to get proof before you blow up. There were clothes on my bed that weren't mine, different shampoo in the shower, blood pressure meds on the counter addressed to V. Whitfield. I crept up the stairs, heart pounding, and found Veronica singing in my shower, wearing my bathrobe. When she saw me, she froze. "You're not supposed to be back yet," she squeaked. Yeah, well, it's my house. I come back when I want. She tried to play it off, said she was protecting my property, claimed emergency HOA authority. Even had a fake contract in my office with my forged signature. She'd clearly never watched a single episode of Law and Order. My signature was all wrong, and digital forensics is literally my job. Before I could throw her out, her little backup plan walked out of the guest bathroom. Dave, local cop, still in uniform. Everything okay? He asked, like this was just another day at the office. Except it was my house, and I hadn't invited him. Dave, do you have my permission to be here? I asked, recording everything on my phone. He blanched. Veronica blustered. I told them both. This is all on camera, and if they wanted to play legal hardball, I was game. I changed the locks the next morning, then started investigating. My garage, tools used and put back wrong. Extra oil stains on the floor. Even my security system had been disabled, and not by accident. Veronica had told everyone I was subletting to her. She'd hosted dinner parties in my dining room, catered food, and all like she owned the place. Beth filled me in over coffee, looking guilty for not warning me sooner. That afternoon, I got an official HOA notice, summoned to an emergency board meeting for disturbing the peace and harassment. The charges were a joke. The board? 3 members were Veronica's real estate clients. 1 was her cousin, and the last, a sweet old lady named Gladys, seemed the only one with a conscience. It was a kangaroo court. I asked for bylaws, for proof, for the specific authority she claimed. Crickets. We don't need to justify ourselves to you. Her cousin snapped. And that's when it clicked. None of this was about community standards or rules. It was about power. They fined me $1,500, tacked on a monitoring fee. And as I walked out, Gladys whispered, "She's done this before. Other folks just move away." So, what do you do when the people with power decide the rules don't apply to them? You fight back. Monday morning, I showed up at the office of Sarah Morgan, property lawyer extraordinaire. She took one look at my evidence and nearly laughed. "They're making it up as they go," she said. Turns out, all that emergency authority was pure fiction. The best part? Veronica had been charging monitoring fees to other homeowners for years, basically running a protection racket with clipboards. While Sarah got to work, Veronica doubled down, sent the city inspector to harass me, filed fake complaints, started an online smear campaign, and even had her police buddies do slow drive-bys to rattle me. But she made one mistake. She didn't understand how the cloud works. My home security footage, auto-backed up and hidden from tampering, showed her in my house for days, giving real estate tours, hosting parties, photographing every inch like it was a model home. The smoking gun? She tried to access my personal files from her phone while on my Wi-Fi. Every failed login attempt, every trace, linked right back to her device. Beth, as it turned out, had a background in forensic accounting. She and I mapped out a web of fake invoices, made-up vendors, and emergency repairs that never happened. The total? Over $200,000 stolen from 6 neighborhoods over several years. By now, we'd built a coalition. Our neighbors, once scared or isolated, started comparing notes and realized they'd all been targeted at one time or another. When we finally got our hands on the HOA financials, thanks to a court order, the fraud was laid bare. Veronica had been using HOA funds to pay vendors that were just shell companies tied to her own accounts. But she didn't go quietly. When the pressure got too hot, she tried to delete the records, claimed her computer crashed. Too bad she didn't realize data recovery is my bread and butter. We got back nearly everything, including her emails planning more cons, her draft notes about which neighbors were easy marks, and her business plan for taking over vacant homes to use as showrooms for high-end clients. She even tried to make the whole neighborhood pay for her legal defense, called an emergency meeting, and proposed a $15,000 special assessment. But this time, people showed up. Gladys moved to remove her from a board. The vote passed in poetic justice. 10 minutes later, her cousin got the boot too. That's when the FBI walked in. No joke. Real agents, real handcuffs. Charges: mail fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy, and more. Watching Veronica, always so smug, get walked out in cuffs? Not gonna lie, I smiled. But the story didn't end there. Veronica tried one last public defense at a city council meeting, played the victim, blamed me for everything. Then I stood up and rolled security footage of her dinner parties, her rifling through my office, her laughing about using my house as a showcase. The crowd turned fast. The city passed the toughest HOA oversight laws in county history. Veronica ended up taking a plea deal: 18 months in prison, 3 years probation, restitution to every victim, permanent loss of her real estate license, and banned from HOA boards for life. Her cop accomplice? 6 months in county jail, lost his pension. The civil case settlement helped start a neighborhood fund for people in real hardship. And yeah, property values went up. People like transparent, honest management, it turns out. What did I learn? Bullies thrive on silence, on fear, on neighbors being too tired or scared to fight. But once folks start sharing, start documenting, start organizing, the balance of power shifts. It's not easy. You'll lose sleep. You'll have moments where you want to quit. But justice feels real good when it finally comes through the door. So, what do you think? Where's the line between protecting a community and abusing power? Ever seen an HOA or authority figure cross it? Share your story. Let's talk about where you draw the line and how you'd fight back. And if you're stuck in your own mess with a corrupt HOA, don't let them convince you you're alone. Start documenting, find allies, and remember, intimidation only works if you let it. Sometimes the people with the clipboards are the most afraid when the truth comes out.